Hi friends, welcome to ISN College Connect YouTube channel. In this videos, we are going to discuss about one-dimensional array in Java. In previous videos, we discussed about what is a break and continue statement. In this videos, we are going to discuss about what is array. Let's see what is an array. So in array, where we are going to store multiple values in one particular single locations of same data type. For example, you want to store the marks of 5 or 6 subjects. So how you are going to do? You're going to give M1, marks 2, marks 1, marks 2, marks 3, and then marks 4, and then marks 5, and marks 6. Like this only we normally created in previously. But so we are going to, instead of creating the variable like this, we are going to create one memory locations where we can able to store all the 6 marks like this. So here, so that is what the array is all about. Array is in one particular single location, we can able to store multiple values. So here you see the syntax for creating array. The syntax for creating array is first we are going to declare, then we can define, or else we can declare and define an array in one single locations. So here we need to mention the data type, then we need to give the square bracket that should be followed by the array name, or else we are going to give the data type and then we need to give the array name then square bracket, or else we can put the data type and then space square bracket that should be followed by array name, or else so between this data type and array name we can put the square bracket. So we can use any of this method to declare an array. Once you declare, you need to mention the size which is required, right? Okay, so how we are going to mention means by using the defining an array. So here what you need to do, first you need to mention the array name, then you need to use the new that should be followed by data type. So here you are going to mention the size, how many size is required. So here you see, for example, I'm just going to declare an array, that is a data type is going to be what, int, and then I'm just going to be put the square bracket that should be followed by marks. Now we declare an array. Now we need to mention the size, how much size is required, right? Okay, so later I'm going to declare an array, that is define an array. Okay, so first for defining array, we need to mention the array name equal to new that should be followed by the data type. The data type is what? Int. So here we are going to mention how much size is required, so that the 6 block is going to be get created. Okay, so here it is going to be created like this. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, like this it is going to be get created. Okay, so for here you see we are going to create 7 blocks. We created 7 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now you need to access the first values. You want to access the first values in the array locations means, so you need to use the index values. The index values of the array block is going to be start with 0 and end with the size of the array minus 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here you see, you want to access the array locations means you need to mention the array name that should be followed by the index locations. This is the index locations, index value. Okay, so here you see, so we create an array of 6, right? Okay, so that 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Likewise, it's going to be get created. In case you want to access the locations of this particular index values means you need to mention the array name. What is array name? So the array name here is marks. What is array name? The array name is for marks. Okay, so I want to access this particular location means first I need to mention the array name and then that should be followed by the index locations, index value. Okay, so what is the index value? It is a 0, right? Okay, so 0. Okay, so that the values which is there in this particular location is going to be get display on the user screen. Okay, so this is what how all about the array. So let's move to the next slide. Here, so in previously we are going to declare then define it. So then we are going to get the input from the user. In case if you want to initialize an array, you can also do it like this. Okay, so in case if you know the values, okay, so only you know the values, you can give it based on the values. It is going to, the array is going to be get created. So for that you need to mention the data type, square bracket, array name, then values. based upon the values which is going to be have on here. Okay, so based on that, the array size is going to be get created. All these values is going to be stored it on the particular location. So as I already told that, you want to access the values on the particular array locations means you need to mention the array name that should be followed by the index values. So as I already told that the starting locations of the array is always going to be what? 0. So now you want to access the ending locations. For that you need to know the length of the array. So the length of the array you can access by using array name dot length. Okay, so for example, if this is an array, okay, so here the array is all you know that the array is going to be start with 0, 1, 2, 3. So you're going to use array num dot length means so it is going to be written the values as 4 for this particular scenario. Okay, so why? Because the array dot length, it is going to be count the values from 1, 2, 3, 4 likewise. Okay, so in case you want to access the final locations means you need to know the array length. Okay, so then minus 1. You need to put the minus 1. Likewise, I'm just going to create one variable int n equal to array name dot length. Okay, so here this array name dot length is going to be written 4. Okay, so int n is equal to what? I'm going to get 4. Okay, so then I'm just going to use array name of index values n minus 1 so that I can able to access the final values. Okay, so that is the values it is stored on the last locations of the array. So one of the biggest drawbacks we are having in the array is the size is fixed. So the size is fixed. You could not able to increase the size at the running time. That is the biggest drawbacks we are having in the one dimensional array. Sorry, normally in the array. Okay, so we are going to see how to implement the array concepts. Let's proceed to the demonstration. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create one simple package which is called as a single dimensional array. So new, I'm going to create and package single single dimensional array. Okay. So under this, I'm just going to create one simple class, which is called as a uh, 1D array. Okay. So here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create an main method, or else under this particular class, I'm just going to create an array. The array is going to be what? Marks. I'm going to first declaring it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and later I'm just going to get the input from the user, then I'm going to define it. Okay, so scanner s equal to new scanner. So here system dot in. Okay, done. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get the input from the user, how much size you want to create. Okay, so the array size, I'm just going to ask the input. Okay, so for that, I'm just going to create a method, get data method. The method which is used to get the input from the user and it is going to allocate an arrays. Okay, array size. So the enter the size of the array. After seeing this statement, user is going to give the values. Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just want to store this value on some locations, right? So that why I'm going to create an one variable size. Okay, so the size equal to the scanner object s dot next int. Okay, so here we are going to read the input from the value user and we are going to store the values in the size variable. Now we coming to know the exact size which the user is required. So now we are going to initialize an array. As I already explained on the syntax, how to create an or how to initialize an array. Okay, so what is the syntax? Array name. What is array name here we have created? It is a marks. Okay, so marks equal to new. Then that should be followed by the data type. The data type is what? Int. Okay, so then we are going to mention the size which is required for us. Okay, it's required from our side. Okay, so now you see the size is going to be created. The array is going to be created based upon the size value which the user is given. So now we coming to know the exact size what the user is required. Now we need to read the input from the user, and we are going to store the values on this particular array locations. So for that we need to use the for loop. So int. So as you know that the array's starting location is what? 0. So I less than, and I'm going to mention I want to get the length of the array. Okay, so what is the method to access the length of the array? That is array name dot length method. Array name dot length method, then I plus plus, so that the I values is going to be incremented by 1. Okay, so whenever the inside we are going to receive the input from the user. Okay, so out. Okay, so here we are going to mention enter the values, enter the values values for the subject. So here I'm going to be put the mathematical operation like this, I plus 1. Okay, so it is temporarily incrementing the I value by 1 while it is printing. So when it is exit, okay, so I values is resetted to the normal, the previous one values. Okay, so here, so I'm just going to get the input, right? Okay, I want to store the values on the particular locations, so that I'm just going to be mention the marks of I then equal to the scanner object, which we are having is yes, right? Okay, so s dot next in. Okay, so now you see we are going to use a for loop for read the input from the user, and we are going to store the input on the particular array locations. So once we done this, then we need to print the information. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the print data method. In the print data method, I'm just going to print the values. So for that also, I'm just going to use the same for loop. Okay, so now for I'm not going to type it once again. I'm just going to copy and paste it over here. So here we are just going to print the information, right? So enter the values. So instead of this, we are going to print the information, right? The values for the subject 1 plus double equal to is plus. So we are going to mention the array name. We are going to mention the array name. That's it. We done. Okay, so now we are going to call the main method. Now we are going to call the main method. In the main method, we are going to create an object for this one dimensional array. So ODA equal to new ODA. Then ODA is nothing but it is object. First, we need to access the get data method. Get data method. Get data method. Then we are going to call the print data method, ODA dot print data. Okay, so now you see we done it. We created an array. So we create an array on here. Then we are going to read the values from the user, and we are going to store the values on this particular location. Finally, we are going to print it. So we done it. Now we are going to run this code. Let's check what will be going to happen. So it is asking the size of the array. So I'm just going to be mentioned 6. So it is asking the input for the array locations of 90, 91, and 92, and 93, and 94, and 95. Now you see we store the values on this all the particular array locations. Then finally we are going to print the values which is there on the particular array locations. I'm just going to explain this code on the whiteboard so that you can understand much better. Okay, so done. Okay, so now you see the execution is going to be start from the main method. The execution is going to be start from the main method. The execution is going to be start from the main method. So ODA's object is going to be get created. So under this ODA object, so we are having two variables. One is what? Marks, which is going to be what? Array. As of now, the size is not created. And then we are having the another variable, the size. So after that, we are going to call ODA.getData method. The getData method, which is present over here. So this particular method is going to be get called the ODA method, which is present over here. So here you see what we are going to did on inside this particular getData method is in the output screen, we are just going to print enter the size of the array. Enter the size of the array. Enter the size of the array. So once the user is going to saw this statement, he is going to give the input, right? Okay, suppose he is going to be give the 6. Okay, so this value is going to be read by s dot next in, and it is going to be store it on the which variable? Size. So now the values of the sizes is 6. Now you see the next statement we did is, so we create an array, right? Previously marks are equal to new int. So here inside this we are passing the size. So we are going to pass 6, right? Okay, so that what it is going to do, it is going to be create an array with the size of 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so as you already know that the starting locations of the array is going to be what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be created like this. So what is the value, name of the array? It is what? Marks. Now we are having the for loop. The next one is going to be for loop. So for loop is going to be initialized to I equal to 0. Then it is going to check the conditions. What is the conditions we are written over here? That is I, which is going to be less than mark start length. What is the mark start length is going to do? So mark start length is going to be written the size of the array. Okay, so the size of the array is what? 6. Okay, so the 6. So it's telling that 0 which is less than 6. Okay, so is it true or false? It is true, right? Okay, so that what it is going to be happen? It get inside. So what statement we written inside? So we are asking the input from the user. Okay, so enter the values. Enter the values for the subject. Enter the values for the subject I plus 1. What is the I value? The I value is what? 0. So 0 plus 1, it is 1. As I already told that. So once it's printing the values, after when it is come outside, I values is going to be reset to the previous values. Okay, so the previous value is what? It is 0 only, right? So now what is the next statement we are asking? So we are asking input from the user, and we are going to store it on marks of I. Okay, so equal to s dot next. Okay, so what is the I values here we are having? The I values is what? 0. So marks of 0 equal to, suppose the user is going to give 90, it is stored on which location? 19th location. Okay, sorry, 0th location. 90 is going to be stored on array name is what? Marks. Okay, so the index values is 0. Under this, it is going to be store the 90 values. After performing this operation, what it is going to be happen? It is going to be increment the I value by 1. It is going to be increment the I value by 1. Okay, so then it's going to be check the conditions. Once the I value is going to be incremented by 1, so it is going to be 1. 0 is going to be increment by 1 means the I values is what? Is 1. Okay, so then it is going to be check the condition. The condition is I, which is going to be less than marks dot length. Marks dot length. Okay, so what is I value here we are having? It's a 1. Then marks dot length value is what? 6. Okay, so it is telling that 1 which is going to be less than 6. Yes, it is true. So what it is going to be happen? It is going to be get inside. So it is going to be ask the next one. Okay, so next input. Okay, so once the user is going to give this, it is going to be asked enter the value for the subject for the subject. So what is I values here? Here you are having 1. So I plus 1, it is 2. Suppose I'm just going to give 80. Okay, so it is going to be captured by these values s dot next int, and is going to assign to the values, that is marks of I equal to the s naught next values which I given is 90, right? What is I value here? You are having 1. So under marks of 1, it is going to be store 90 again. Okay, so now it is going to be what? 90. In case the user is going to give 96 over here, so the values is going to be what? 96. Okay, so now it's going to be perform one more iterations. Likewise, it is going to be store the values on this all these locations. 98. Okay, likewise, once the get data is over, we are going to read all the input from the user and we are going to store the values on this relevant locations. So once it done, then moving to the next one, that is the print data method. Okay, so here the print data method is going to be get called. Inside this print data method, what we return, we initialize one for loop. Okay, so here you see we are going to initialize the for loop. The same thing I equal to 0, so then it is going to be check the conditions. Then I is going to be what? Is less than mark start length. As you know, the mark start length is going to be what? 6 previously, right? Okay. So here the I values is what? 0. So it is telling that 0 which is less than 6. Yes, it is true. So it is get inside. In the output screen, it is going to be print something we given on the double quote, so that it is going to be print as it is the values for the subject. What is I values? It is 0. 0 plus 1, 1 is marks of I. Okay, so what is the marks of I? Marks of I values is what? It is 0. So it is going to be access the values which is there in the marks of 0. What is the marks of 0 values we are having? We are having 0, right? So that it is going to be print the values over here. Okay, so then it is going to, after it's going to be in printing this input, then it is going to be proceed to the next statement. That is I values is going to be incremented by 1. So once the I values is going to be incremented by 1, the I values is what? 1. So once it is going to be get incremented by 1, so it's going to be check the another conditions. Okay, so the conditions over here is I which is going to be less than marks of length. I values is what? 1. So marks of length values is what? 6. So it is telling that the one is which is less than 6, right? Okay, so it is what? True. Okay, so once it true, it get inside. So the values which is given on the double quotes is going to be print as it is. So values of for the subject 2 is, that is, here you see we are given marks of I. Okay, so marks of I. What is I value now we are having? It's a 1. Okay, so now it is trying to access the values which is there in the marks of 1. So marks of 1 values we are having is 96. So that it is going to be print the 96. Likewise, it is going to be print all the relevant in all the values. Likewise, it is going to be print all the values. Hope you understand what is a one-dimensional array, declarations and definitions. Now we are going to do simple changes on this particular program. That is, we are going to initialize the values. Okay, so in the single line, it's a very simple program. Okay, simple array initialization. Okay, so here I'm just going to create a simple main method. Here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create an array. Now I'm going to create a variable like this. Okay, so then I'm going to assign the values. Okay, so 90, come on, 91, 92, come on, 93. Now the array is going to be create a size based upon the values it's having. Now the array size is going to be what? 3. Okay, so here in case I want to print the values of the array which is stored on the uh, second location, means I can mention marks of 2. Okay, so that 0, 1, 2. So it is going to be print the 93. Now I need to print the length of the array, means I can use marks dot length method. Marks dot length method. It's going to be print the length of the array. Now we are going to run this program and we are going to check it. Here you see, it's going to be print The marks on the second location is what? 93. And then is going to be print the length of the array. So length of the array is what? 1, 2, 3. That is a 90 is on 1, 92 as on 2, 93 as a 3. So that it is going to be printed the 3. So this is what the one dimension is all about. Hope you understand what is a one dimension array. So in the next videos, we are going to discuss about two dimension array. So please, in case if you like this video, please share this video with your friends. Please don't forget to click the subscribe and bell button. Thank you.